So yesterday, me, Benny, and Amit was looking into our current state of the grid system. We were trying to solve some problems, trying to figure out how to make this work. But at the end, we decided to just copy how FTL and Voidware did it. What I mean by that is basically, right now we're trying to make this hex grid work with the rooms, but we realized that's gonna make things more difficult and cause a lot of problems. I mean, not really problems, but there's a lot of factors that we didn't consider when creating a system like this. So instead of just trying to fix all the problems with this and trying to make it better, instead of investing time into that, we looked at how FTL and Voidware did it, analyzed the game a bit, then realized that the way that FTL Voidware did is much more simpler. What I mean by that's the square grids, and you can see the rooms here are pretty small. So like this room is just a 2x2, this room is just a 1x2. While in our case, it's a bit more complicated than that. And since we're trying to release this game next year, we decided to just make it simpler, lessen the scope a bit. So we ended up just deciding we'll just copy exactly how Voidware and FTL did it. And that's what I did today. I started working on that. So I removed the hex grid stuff. So yeah, basically what I did first, I looked into the grid asset and tried making everything a square instead. And what I realized while doing that, since the grids are tied to the world space, as you can see here, it just doesn't fit well at all. I mean, like, it's gonna be hard to make the rooms precise in shape and size, like in FTL. See, wait, this is Voidware, I mean. So you can see the rooms and the walls, they're all perfectly aligned, perfectly laid out to here in their ship. Well, this one is, I mean, I haven't made it look good. I mean, I haven't positioned it properly, but in order to do that, you really have to precisely position this ship in a certain spot in the world. And not only that, but as you can see here, when I'm laying out the ship in the editor, so while the game is not running, I can't even determine if it's laid out precisely. So this is a lot of back and forth eyeballing stuff, and that's just gonna be really tedious, gonna make things more complicated, I think. So I decided to look back into the old grid system for our old prototype, and took a look at that and decided, okay, what if I just repurpose that? I won't use the current grid system, our grid asset, for now. And since the grids here are pretty small, pretty basic, I'm pretty sure I can just create the grid system myself. So I look back at the old prototype, extracted the grid asset, removed the stuff that was unnecessary, because previously we were trying to copy Dredge. Dredge has a grid system there, and we tried to copy that for our ship. That's for the old prototype. So I extracted that and stripped it down to the bare minimum and started from there. So I, instead of reworking the current room system, I just created it from scratch again, just copying as much code as I can from the old system. And what I ended up with is basically this. Wait, this one. So this is still pretty similar. It's an area that's defined as the room, and but what's immediately noticeable this time is that if I go to the airship here, you can see that the grids are visible. So that I think that's way better when it comes to designing the ship. And then I can also move them around. As you can see, the grids are not tied to each other. I mean, they're not tied to the world space, which means they can be positioned wherever, and they don't always have to be aligned with each other. They just have to be aligned with the room itself. So the grids are now I think it's better that the grids are positioned locally with the room itself. So wherever I move it, the tiles are just aligned with the room itself instead of the world. So there will be less headaches when it comes to implementing stuff. And also, yeah, everything happens in the room anyway. So it should be like that. And yeah, I can also... Wait, let me just... Wait for some reason, I can't select it anymore. Okay, there we go. Okay, what I was saying is that I can also change the size of it. Let's say 2x5, 3x5. But in Voidware and FTL, it's they only have 2x2 and 2x1 and 1x1. But yeah, at least there's this freedom just in case we need something for that. And can also change the cell size here, so it can also scale to whatever scale we decide on going. And you can also mask some of the coordinates. So let's say the first index will not be a tile, or yeah, not be a tile at all. So yeah, it's just like pretty much like the old system, but this time implemented as a room system here in our game. And I also use the old room positioner logic into this. So now if I select the crew member here, I can position them to the room like how it worked before. Then I can, let's say, move these guys here. These are the 2x1 rooms. Yeah, so it works just like before, since the room positioner logic only relies on the tile indexing. But obviously the combat isn't, it's gonna be different, since in Voidwire and FTL, they can enter, yeah, two characters can enter one tile for combat, and that'd be like a melee combat. And if it's an adjacent tile, that's a range combat. So it works a bit differently, and I think that's what I'll work on next. And let me think what else I can say. Oh yeah, for the systems, another reason why I also just created the room actor from scratch again is because I think the current system setup that we have right now, where it's a physical object in the world, wouldn't work as well with the rooms if we're gonna make it like FTL. Since in FTL the systems are the rooms itself, then you basically just define what that room does. So I'm gonna make it so that the systems would just be part of the logic of the room, and then the actual system visual itself would just be cosmetics or visuals, like it's like the control, yeah, like these control rooms in the side of the wall here, and or something, some assets, 3D assets part of the room as well. But yeah, that's what I'm planning, just making the systems attach the room as logic, and then their visuals would just be for visuals, since the crew members are not gonna directly interact with the systems. It's gonna work differently now. So yeah, I think other than that, it's basically what I did for today. I basically reworked the room system from scratch, and for my next steps, I'm gonna make the combat system work like how FTL does it. So yeah, as for the grid asset, yeah, I'm not gonna use it for now. I think we can use it again once we're gonna work with the hex grids again. But for square grids, I think the old system from the old prototype can work with that. So yeah, that's my update for today, and yeah, thanks for watching.